I am joined this afternoon by Larissa Diaz and Kyle and Caity Lotz, Kyle Schmid and Caity Lotz. Thank you so much for being here to talk about this very interesting Lifetime movie that we have coming up. This intense Lifetime movie, which is based on real events. And I'd love to say that the movie, it's about a yoga teacher and that yoga is, supposed to be Zen and cathartic, but it's like namaste away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like it.
definitely.
They could have called it that. Nah, I'm gonna stay away from this one.
We're gonna have to talk to Caity, see if we can revamp Caity Bolin and see if we can revamp this now.
Yeah, good change title.
There we go.
What is it about this film that kind of drew you to being a part of it? Obviously, again, it's based on real events, real people. Unlike, seeing you as the characters that we see through like CW and like Legends of Tomorrow and things like these are obviously real people.
Question, why what drew?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously see you, we see you on like shows like Legends of Tomorrow, and everyone obviously, like we see you in these other characters, but these are based on real people, based on real events. What kind of drew you to this project for this Lifetime film?
Yeah, I think it was fun to get to play a character that wasn't so in control. I think especially with Arrow and Legends, it was very she knows what she's doing, she's in control, she's strong, and this character is very much damaged and
A little more like real life.
He's so funny.
I kid.
So it was fun to just do something different. I think that's what I was attracted to, and also like I guess like you were saying, it's yoga is supposed to be this one thing, and she made this like so much of her identity, but she's very like the opposite, and so she kind of holds a lot of counter. What's the word I'm looking for?
Contrast.
Yeah, or like something. But just so different. It was something different than I've done, and so it was fun.
She definitely holds a lot of her like walls and emotions. She's very guarded. She has all these emotions that build up and boil over. So she's got that kind of like it's kind of like the gray area, like the opposite of being balanced, like yoga, like we say, is supposed to be.
Yeah, and she really like, I don't know, I thought there's something like she tries so hard. You see in everything she's doing, she's trying so hard, and like she just wants to do things right and like live the way that you're supposed to live and find love and be zen and do all the things you're supposed to do, and she's like doing everything that she's supposed to do, and it's never right. And like I guess it's something I found relatable. It's like when you try so hard and you're doing everything you're supposed to do and it still doesn't work, and it's like, so then now what?
Yeah, you're trying to convince yourself that your life is like this, and then your life is actually like this, and you kind of have a window, like goggles or blurry vision about what that all is.
Yeah.
And Kyle, Larissa, same. What kind
I
of?
just wanted to work with Larissa. To be honest, I heard such incredible things.
That's what drew him. That was it.
Larissa and Caity were doing a movie, and I was like, I got to sign on and work with these great actresses.
And they signed on because of all the compliments that were coming. So it worked out. I mean, we continue to talk about like the movie being based on these real events and based on real people. And how was it for you kind of portraying a real person rather than someone who is a fictionalized character? Did you do anything different when you're approached that way and in your portrayals? Is there anything challenging that you found then?
It was challenging to find footage of her. There's stuff in court and there's a lot of photos, but there wasn't a lot of her talking. So I really wanted to like hear her voice more. but I think, you know, just learning up about the case and the circumstances, and then trying to figure out like who is that person, and like that, how does that person get driven to commit such an awful murder? So that was kind of it for me.
Yeah, I mean, besides the obvious, you know, looking up whatever you could find on kind of YouTube and the wonderful World Wide Web, you know, we were kind of limited. I think Katie Boland, who directed the project and also kind of wrote it and brought the story kind of to television, I think, you know, she really went down the rabbit hole of trying to, you know, give these characters a good voice. And you know, for me, it was kind of, I think it's for Colin, a lot of it is managing to convince myself that, you know, not managing to, you know, it's just, you know, he meets Mariah and he's unhappy in his current relationship. And you know, luckily I get to, you know, play off, you know, Katie and Larissa, and it was really fun to watch what they brought to the characters. My wife being terrifying, and Larissa being so endearing and kind of honest in her performance. So yeah, I just got to play ball with two people that, you know, really kind of knew what they were doing.
And you cycle, like you already.
I cycle, and
like,
you know,
cool to get to play that.
Yeah, and you know, competitive and super popular, so it was easy.
Yeah, I think for me, I've played true people before, real people. I mean, I guess everything is real, but so yeah, same with them. I looked up online, but it's hard. It's hard to find like mannerisms when you don't have like video. You can only do so much with photos. And obviously, since the character that I was playing had deceased already, it was a fine line of like digging, but also not like digging too much because you want to be like respectful. But yeah, I just sort of, like Kyle said, I just tried to bring myself into this as honestly as possible. And I think it was good. I think it ended up being a good dynamic that we all had on set.
What do you think it is then, Kyle, about your character Colin, that made him kind of this kind of, I don't know, charmer in a way, and kind of led these two ladies down, you know, these different manipulated kind of paths?
You know, it's interesting because when you play a character, you know, Katie, you might have mentioned this in one of the earlier interviews, but you kind of want to be as honest and truthful about who they believe that they are in the moments that they're in it. And Colin was a tough one for me. And certainly not to vilify him by any means, because, you know, human emotions are complex in their entirety. Like, who really understands what's going through their own head in these kind of emotional moments? You know, I feel like he genuinely loved Kaitlin and cared about Kaitlin, but it wasn't a romantic love. And when you care about somebody, it's hard to let them go. And it's hard because it's hard because you care about them, and you know letting them go is going to hurt them, and it takes a lot of courage to do so. And that's something that I think that Colin struggled with, was having the courage to walk away from somebody and just pulling off the band-aid and just being brutally honest with them and saying, look, I care about you, but you are not, my future does not lie with you. And that opens the door to, you know, a lot of trouble and turmoil in Caitlin's character, but also for Mariah's character, because he's in a sense, he wants his cake, and, you know, what's the line, you know, you want your cake and you want to eat it too.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's not fair to anybody. And so I don't vilify him, but I certainly sympathize with the fact that he cared about two people in two very different ways and was unable to do the right thing, because I think it's difficult. But yeah, I mean, you know, Colin was the popular celebrity cyclist that was kind of the it guy, and you know what's not attractive about that kind of personality where you are driven to succeed constantly, and you are kind of at the top of your game. And Mariah's character was on the rise, right? Larissa, I mean, you were on the rise and kind of got getting to the top of your game as we met. So, you know, transversely, I was attracted to your success, and I think Mariah was attracted to what she saw in Colin.
Yeah. Yeah, like you were like living vicariously through what I was going through because you felt like your career was maybe dwindling.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
I guess the force of betrayal seems to be kind of an overall arcing theme throughout the movie. Can you talk a little bit about how kind of this, I guess, feeling or emotion of betrayal kind of leads to different key points within the film's concepts?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's definitely a running through theme. Caitlin definitely felt betrayed by Colin. And I think, you know, she betrayed herself when she killed, committed murder. I think that was a big line crossed. And, you know, she betrayed her sister. Like it was like it just, she went so far. And that was always the interesting thing about her, because she just kept going, you know, like she ran from the cops. Like she literally in her, like, that she wears this striped jail outfit that I was like, this is like, nobody wears these. And like you watch the footage and like, no, this is exactly what she was wearing.
Yeah.
Like they actually did wear that. Like going on the run and, you know, changing or getting a nose job on her hair. And it's like, she really just, I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
think it's like the web of lies thing. Like she just couldn't get out of it anymore. It's like she
And
was so far
digging
gone.
deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that the Durst documentary. You're like, he just kept going, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever was in his way, it was like he needed to eliminate that. And I think that's what happened to this person.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And then poor, you know, your character just got wrapped up in all of it.
Yeah.
Because really, like, she wasn't trying to steal, you know, be
Not
a
at all.
home wrecker or anything. It was
Yeah.
like,
I mean, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, and I know Colin was trying to navigate it as probably best as he could, but the lack of maybe self-awareness with his emotions, and then also the lack of transparency that also came from that, made it so that Mariah like felt betrayed by him as well. Sorry, Colin.
No, I mean,
But
understandably so. I think the only innocent character in this situation was Mariah.
yeah, yeah, definitely. There's no really other way around that, and it's just unfortunate.
Kyle, you talked a little bit before about Katie Boland, who's the writer director, but I wanted to ask both Larissa and Katie a little bit about their relationship working with Katie Boland and kind of how she worked with you about between her vision between page to screen with filming. How did she kind of give you any kind of guidance, or what, you know, how did she really work with you both to, obviously separately?
yeah, it was really cool because Kyle had known Katie from back in the day because they were both actors in Toronto when they were young.
Yeah, we grew up together.
They knew each other, which was awesome. So it felt like there was already a camaraderie there. And so, and she was an actress, director, and I direct as well. So it was like really nice to be able to, I feel like we really spoke the same language, understood each other, and she knew what I needed to know, you know, and I knew how to, some of the more practical stuff of like, okay, you know what, how many setups you got, and like when do you have to be out of the scene, and can kind of because man, we shot a lot fast. I mean, you're like 10 pages a day and like bam, bam, bam. So she was having to handle a lot. And I think, you know, both of us having that same background really helped give us a shorthand and be able to work quickly. And she's just a cool chick. Like, and her mom is a director too. Like, it's so cool.
Female film.
Yeah, I mean, same sentiments. Like, it's just such a sprint on these. You know, you're shooting a full feature in such a short amount of time, and you really need like veterans to be able to put something on like this. So I think it's a testament to like everyone involved when you're on set to be able to move so quickly. You don't have much leeway when it comes to like these scenes. So everyone being on the same page, and obviously the heightened stress that comes with that. I think everyone navigated it really well and worked really well together.
I definitely appreciate like the female eye on when it comes to films like this, telling these types of stories and having the female perspective from front of screen and behind the screen as well. When it comes to like Lifetime movies or true story, I feel like it's important, women telling other women's stories.
Yeah, and I think this one was particularly important for that because obviously having two of the characters be females and really empathizing with their journeys. I think it had to be, it was important to have like a female director and like producing team involved in this one.
Yeah, Stacy too, or even our
Yeah.
head producer is female.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I agree. I think that having both of those types of lenses, like from both of your perspectives, Mariah's perspective, Caitlin's perspective, the camera's perspective, being a female director, producer's perspective, that's important to
Yeah.
continue for that type of representation, and of course on screen.
Yeah, on screen, and yes, so true. Like it's so great you brought that up. But behind the scenes, like behind the cameras, to have that representation is definitely so important because that lens completely changes. So yeah, definitely agree.
Well, I know obviously this is again, we keep saying this is based on true events, based on true story, based on true people, but kind of what do you really hope lingers with people, or kind of maybe sticks with people after watching a film like this?
I mean, I think going back to kind of the betrayal and just that you really gotta to hopefully like take care of each other's feelings, you know, because some people are right on the edge. And you know, it's yeah, it's I think cautionary tale.
Yeah, I think, I think we've all been through really tough relationships at certain points in our lives. And the one thing that I kind of realized over the past few years, and I think this a lot of the time just comes with age, is loving somebody and also means doing the hardest thing and being honest with the people in your lives that mean the most to you, whether that honesty is good or bad. Because at the end of the day, the only thing you're going to be able to take with you is your dignity. And, what you say and how you treat the people that you care about can affect them in ways far beyond what you truly imagine. We're human, we are fragile, we're incredibly strong, but we are also fragile, kind of beautiful creatures. And I think we just need to kind of do the hard thing and the courageous thing and be honest with one another a lot more.
That's good. That's a good one.
Transparency, being upfront, talking everything out with your partner rather than just kind of burying it, which is something I'm used to doing as like an introvert person. I'm very sensitive, so I'm kind of like used to burying my feelings and be like, okay, I'll just get over it. But then they pile up and then they boil over, like, and then.
And I mean, I think a big thing too is like,
natural.
as cliche as it might be, but like truly finding like self-love and not trying to find this like external validation through relationships, so that it's not this like codependency. I think is really the takeaway with this one too.
I just really want to ask kind of in closing as well, outside of this, but for you, Caity, just kind of portraying such an iconic character on TV for such a long period of time through both Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow, what kind of roles are you really looking for now? Obviously, like we talked about before earlier, like this is a much different role than we've seen you do before, but we know you have a mommy role coming up too.
That's right now. I'm like, that's the role of the lifetime is, you know, my belly is quite large. And so, I mean, that's been like my total focus. And I worked for like just 10 years straight on the show. And so now it's kind of nice to get a little, now that Kyle's going to go on the new NCIS show. And like, I'm like, now I'm going to take a little break. Hopefully not too long. I've been actually focusing on like directing and producing some scripts that I have that I want to direct. And so that's also a big part of my focus, which is so nice too, because I was like, oh, it doesn't even, your body, it doesn't matter as much. Like, and you have a lot more freedom and kind of control of things, which is cool.
I was gonna say, I hope at least, you know, outside of the upcoming baby, that we get to see maybe your credit come up a few times, whether directing through TV or film, because you really have a great eye and angle for when you direct as well. So I'm a fan of yours, of course, from your acting, but also a huge fan of your directing abilities as well.
Thank you. That's very sweet. Yeah, well, you haven't seen the last of me. This baby won't be the end of me.